Welcome everyone, Dylan Gemelli here today with a brand new video for you. So today I want to talk to you about how long marijuana stays in your system. Now, the most common way to test for THC, which is the primary psychoactive found in cannabis, is through urine testing. Urine testing is the cheapest method and it has a long detection period. So urine and other tests like it do not test for THC itself specifically, but they test for like a THC metabolite called THC-COOH. Now the presence of this metabolite means that the body has recently produced the chemical. So the length of time is going to vary depending on how often you consume it. And when it comes to how long it stays in your system, THC is stored in the body's fat. So it therefore accumulates in the body gradually over time. Now, it essentially doesn't matter how you consume cannabis. The more you smoke, vape, or eat, the longer it's going to be detectable in your urine. So, here's what you should know before you find yourself peeing in one of those little cups. Alright, in general, here's how long cannabis can be found in your system. If you're just using it one time and one time only, it can still show up like at least 8 days later. If you have frequent use, maybe 15 days or a little bit more even. Regular use, 30 days at least. And heavy use, 45 to 75 days, if not more. Alright? These are general numbers. I've seen it worse for people, especially the more you weigh, the longer it's going to stay in your system. So, if you're a regular consumer of marijuana, the chances are THC is going to remain in your urine for at least up to a month after stopping. That's why it's good to stay frosty on your toes, because this is also the most likely and frequent way that you're going to be tested for weed in your system. Don't panic, and freak out. Just understand that this is generally how it is. It can be different for everybody. Now, how about your saliva? How long does it stay in your saliva? And if you're going to be tested by your saliva, you're probably wondering, why am I getting tested this way? But here's some good news for you. Generally speaking, it lasts the shortest time in the saliva. This is the testing method that's most often used by road police officers, in checking for drug drivers under the influence, something like that. THC metabolites are going to show up in your saliva about an hour after smoking, and they can, remain testing positive for up to 24 hours, even, a single use. But in the case of regular smokers, it can take, up to 3 days at least to get out of your system. For chronic and heavy users, it can take up to a week. Now, how about your hair? Tricky, huh? Now, hair can be a chief concern. I'm not going to lie to you. All right? There's a lot of debate on whether or not hair testing is accurate, since cannabis is thought to, have the most extended detection window in hair. But all standard hair tests look for the presence of drugs over the last 90 days. Now, some hair grows at a fairly standard and consistent rate, and laboratory technicians are going to test a short hair sample taken, very, very close to your scalp. All right, this sample is going to provide a record of your overall health and even look at what you've consumed over the past 3 months. Now, what the technicians will ultimately look for depends on what was ordered in the test. So if you're being scanned for drug use, don't get anxious. All right, cannabis metabolites will show up in your hair after about 7 days post-consumption. But hair testing for cannabis is not really very common at all. You don't see it often. Clear Choice hair follicle shampoo is easy to use, and it's highly effective for detoxification. So that, coats the hair follicles so that the toxins are not detectable in many tests. And then, how long does it stay in your blood? Some officers opposing recreational cannabis use are attempting to prevent driving under the influence of cannabis with roadside blood testing. That might make you concerned about the question at hand: how long does it stay in your system? Blood testing for cannabis is not extremely common. THC and THC metabolites don't stay in the blood for very long, and instead, the cannabinoid likes to find itself a nice fatty spot to land. So getting an impromptu blood test for cannabis would be fairly unusual. So take a quick second to glance over the doctor or police officer for a Dracula cape, right? All right, just in general, here's how long you can expect to test positive for THC in the blood. For single use, up to 24 hours. For frequent use, up to 3 days. And for regular use, up to a week. So that, my friends, is detection times on marijuana, how long it stays in your system. since it's becoming legal everywhere and a lot more people are using it, I just wanted to fill you in case you're getting like tested for a job or something like that. If you're on probation or parole, just don't do it. It's stupid. You're going to get in trouble. You could lose your probation or your parole for something extremely stupid. Just hold off and wait. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I mean, okay, it's nice. I live in a state where it's legal, and I like it, and I've always been pro for it, but I have always used it for my back, for example, and I've broken my back in several spots and had a what, I'm 36 now. I mean, over 18 years of back problems. So, I'm not one of those burnout smokers that smokes all day. I smoke when I'm in pain. But regardless, I'm pro. Always been pro. I used to smoke like that for fun, but, as I've gotten older, I've got a lot more responsibilities and things to do during the day. And I don't want my eating to go crazy, but that doesn't affect everybody that way either. But the point is, use it responsibly. And if you're in some kind of trouble, don't use it. Just don't. So that being said, www.icearms.com/videos, where you can see all of my old and new videos, daily, updated, daily, uncut, and uncensored. Check out my Instagram TV, IGTV. I'm doing all my old topics, but redoing them. You definitely don't want to miss those. www.icearms.com/forums and Dylan@icearms.com is where you can get me with all questions and comments. So that being said, stay tuned for plenty more to come. Dylan Gemelli, signing off.